Cryptillians and crypto crackheads, today is, I really don't know what day it is, maybe Thursday, April 1st, 2021, and you're about to get Timified. New viewers, here's what you're about to see. First off, you have not seen or come across a crypto YouTube channel like this one before, so this would be your first experience. I'm not going to sit here and talk about white papers or CEOs or how bullish I am on news. I'm not going to talk about coins that everybody on the internet's talking about, 𝐿 and Burnonomics. You're not going to hear any of that from me. What you're going to see on this channel is how to take profits like a boss by being extremely confident when you're clicking, before you click, and that's the goal of this channel. So if you don't have confidence when you're clicking around, you might want to take a look. And I do have a library section, so if I say anything that is unfamiliar to you, such as EMA, exponential moving average on a chart, or what am I looking at on this dude's chart, I show you how I do it down in the description section. It's the library, and if you hear anything or see anything you don't know, just check there first and come back to this video, and we'll be rocking and rolling. So, Cryptillians and Crypto Crackhead Nation, are you ready? Profit pimps out there, the very few of you, are you ready? All right, let's get rocking and rolling. So, I only want to accomplish a couple things in this video. I don't want to fly through coins, look at everybody's breakouts, even though 6 of things I'm holding broke out pretty darn good today. What I want to accomplish, the first thing is to remember to make myself small so I don't have to re-record this. The first thing I want to accomplish is to build appreciation for what the hell is happening in Bitcoin right now. So think about this. Why do I want you to build appreciation for what is happening right now? For new viewers, your guess probably won't be that great. This battle between the bears and the bulls, with sideliners staying sideliners until we cross either this green line or that green line. So this is all bulls and bears. This is not sideliners taking a ride or jumping in to overpower. This is all bulls and bears, and this is what it looks like. This is freaking epic. There are not many moments in Bitcoin history where you have so much pressure built up like this, and it becomes a stable coin. Like within, $300 is relative, right? So $300 now is a tiny, like within a percent roughly. So being within 1%, that's stable coin. And when you see stuff like this in Bitcoin happen on a percentage basis, so, just a year ago, a $500 swing was actually not that bad in terms of ROI and making money off of that. But now a $500 swing's not that much. But anyway, unless you're using like 50x leverage, that's pretty good. But anyway, so what you're looking at here, I have it on the 15-minute crackhead, not suggested time frame. But it allows you to see how ridiculous this battle is right now. And if you want to go back, I guess you can't go back very far in Bitcoin price on TradingView, but I guess you can go back kind of far on the 4-hour. This is making some type of, it's like that's not a straight line, but it's making some like equilateral triangle type of thing, and it's going to come to a point, and it's going to pop, and it's going to pop hard. So if you want to draw a pattern, I'm not a pattern trader. I think you all, most of you know my feelings on that. Pattern traders exist just so the higher food chain can take their money, in my opinion. But anyway, this is epic, people. And so with that appreciation, I want you to know that there's a high probability that there's about ready to be fireworks. And a few things happening in terms of fireworks is it's the beginning of the month. So you see this where my cursor is on the right-hand side, 28 days, 23 hours. So 29 days left. The month just started, beginning of the month. It's the beginning of this daily candle, just started. Pressure's built up. So typically you see a lot of fireworks especially at the beginning of a week, coordinating with the beginning of a month when those land on the same day. That typically has fireworks. And usually a lot of big plays, folks with a lot of money, hedge funds, whoever, or even governments are probably buying Bitcoin and trying to have smart people trade it for them. I would assume, even though most of them I would assume are buyers and holders. But anyway, when they see things, important dates lining up, like the first of the month, and things to that effect, a lot of fireworks happen. So anyway, we don't have a week lining up with a month here by any means, because if we go to the week, and these are things you need to be paying attention to. So what I'm saying right now might not sound important to you, right? But when you're trying to time when you need to be looking at a chart, and because, you know, your money's riding on it or something, the first few hours of a beginning of a week and the first few hours of the beginning of a day or a month, or even the 4 hour, down to the 4 hour, it gets important. A lot of big moves hold off until the 4 hour candle starts, and then it starts screaming. You don't see a ton of, well, I guess over time you'll see a ton, but it's not a super high percentage of stronger moves that happen like during the middle of a 4 hour candle. I mean, a lot of them, I don't know if it's the majority, I don't know the percentage, but in terms of timing, when you're looking at this, if you are completely oblivious to the beginning of a new candle, right? 4 hour and above, 4 hour daily, weekly and monthly particularly, you need to not be oblivious. First off, I'm piggybacking into the idea of this is a pretty epic battle going on here. This is pretty neat, and it's really lining up to show some fireworks. I mean, if this starts screaming up, ignoring the potential for a fake out, which is not probable, it's very improbable that if it screams up, it'll be a fake out, because there's just going to be too much force behind it after it breaks. Too many sideliners. So new viewers and markets and the psychology behind what moves price, you have buyers, sellers, and sideliners, right? This is currently a battle between these two people only. All of these people are just lurking in the darkness, you know, like sipping on a margarita with an umbrella coming out of it, right? So these are the sideliners. I actually did a pretty good job drawing that. So sideliners essentially have their popcorn open right now, and the reason why I feel that a fake out is pretty improbable is because once this passes and closes, I would say maybe a 4 hour candle, the force behind the sideliners jumping on team bulls is going to be way too much force, because there's a big group of people here, and I would say this group of people right now is probably 3 times bigger than this group and this group combined. It's probably, do I know that? No, but given what's happening, actually, I would guess if I'm wrong, I'm too low. So anyway, so that's kind of why, the psychology behind building up pressure between a small range, dollar amount, it doesn't look small like on a normal asset, but in percentage wise, this is, let's just look. So I need you to build appreciation for this within the 2.5% range. This is epic. I mean, this is not common. So we have the beginning of the month that just started 2 hours ago at 8 p.m. New York City time. And yeah, so that's the market psychology behind it. I noted the candle, beginning of candles that a lot of people aren't thinking about. So I would guess 95% of you watching, even, returning viewers, that's probably not something you think about a lot, right? The candles. Well, trust me, if you're looking for something to really move and you're trying to make a decision, okay, do I do this? Do I click around? And you look at you go to the 4 hour candle and there's only like 15 minutes left. You might want to wait. So you might want to remember that 4 hour candle pulls some heavy weight. So that's one good way to kind of control yourself and to help yourself get in better positions. That's just a little trick. I think horizontals and moving averages and dips are much better tricks, but you need all the tricks you can to optimize your process and your finger clicking and not to be a crackhead. So that's what I'm seeing in the market right now. This is epic. This is really freaking cool. So hopefully I've explained why this is cool and what you can look out for that you probably weren't looking out for before. So, another thing that I wanted to cover in this is, so I think everybody saw, or most of you should have seen, why I have a strong bearish sentiment, why I feel that I have house odds that this will break down. Now, do I have like 80% odds in my mind? Like, do I think that I have the tools and the data behind a decision to have 80% super high probability of entering a trade with confidence? No, I am not saying that. I think I'm closer to maybe 55-60% of the data needed to be very confident in that this will break down. Or perhaps it'll poke its head out first only for an hour or 2 hour wick and then come charging down just to give one last hoorah to take a ton of money from people shorting. And so I was watching a few other traders' videos today. One of them made a really good, I guess he has people, data folks that he has, he's in contact with. He said that in recent history, this, I think it was down to an hour. Yeah, this hour here had more liquidations in dollar amount than any hour in Bitcoin history. So more people longing. So see how it poked its, this is what I just said, actually. See how it poked its head out? Right? That was from, look, that was from these dorks who don't understand that you need to close a candle above here. You don't have to wait for a 4 hour, but at least wait for an hour or something. I guess you do close an hour up there. So that's why you don't wait for an hour. you want to like a 4 hour candle, you're pretty safe. But this is, so I think most of you have heard me say something, you want a 4 hour candle to close before you make a choice. Well, connect these two dots to the things that I just recently said. This hour had more liquidations in dollar amount in 1 hour than any hour in the history of Bitcoin. It poked its head out, and all that was from was a bunch of sideliners who went long here and got crushed. And it might have been people who were going long, you know, going super long here when they saw it going up. So, or maybe they got long when it broke that, and they were going very heavy leverage. They forgot to move up their stop or something, so they took profit no matter what, and it crushed them. And that, you know, 50x leverage, you're out, or you're stopped at least. But getting liquidated like that means you didn't set tight stops, and you want to wait till it goes back up because you don't think you're seeing. Well, even though you're watching your money just dwindle, it's like, I'm almost to zero. Well, I might as well wait it out. It'll go back up. Now I'm down to zero. Right? That's what liquidation means. It means people entering here along. Right? You start off with $1,000 and you do 30x leverage. Let me zoom in here. So this is what liquidation means for newer folks, or just, you know, maybe you watch this channel for a while and you don't know what it means still. And this is why I don't suggest leverage trading, folks. Like, you need to get extreme, you need to be boss level profit taking, not scared of taking profits. You feel great when you take profits and price keeps screaming like Veracity, even though it's going to come back down below the point where I said I would take profits. I almost guarantee it. Anyway, you need, if you are not comfortable with those feelings, taking profits, being super happy, looking for that next trade, as for example, Veracity keeps going up 80% without feeling bad about it. If you're not to that level, don't use leverage. But anyway, this is how people get liquidated. They say, okay, it's had 1 test, 2 tests, 3 tests. If this breaks this line again, I bet it has the force to get over here. So they leveraged long right there. They went in on a long, right? And they maybe they had a stop here, but then it started coming down, and they're like, yeah, I'm going to erase my stop. You know, I'm going to get rid of this stop. And then it goes down further than they think. And by this point, you know, here they have like $900, here they have $800, here they have $700, $600, $500, $400, $300, $200, $100. And by the time they have $100, because they erased their stop, because they're clicking around, breaking their rules, they say, well, screw it. I've already lost 900. You know, if it turns around before this line, if it just turns around here, you know, and then it breaks through, I'm going to be way in the green. But nope, got to the 0 line. Not only did it get to the 0 line, though, And this is showing you the trickery of exchanges. This is another reason why, if you're not really practiced at trading, you're not super confident, don't use leverage, because you're going to lose your money. Not only is it easy to lose your money with tricks like that, is the people who did go long here, right? Maybe went long here or something, or tested, went long here. That actually would be a really good place to go long on high leverage, like a retest of the bottom. But anyway, you can see it better on the 15-minute. Let me break this down. Yeah, so low, retest. Yeah, that would be a good spot to go. But anyway, people got a long here, or people who went long here, I'm sorry, and they had their stops down here, and they're on lighter leverage. What happened was, not only did this candle liquidate a bunch of people and the exchanges got their money, but the people who had their stops way down here, because they're not over leveraged, maybe 2x, 3x, so they're okay with like a 5% or a 3% swing because they won't get liquidated and they won't lose much money. You know, they set their stops right here. It came down because the exchanges can see your stops, right? And the exchanges have Bitcoin too. They can sell right into your stops. See, okay, if I come down to this level, everybody's grouped here because there's probably some type of support. Yeah, there's probably some type of support line, and people put it right under the support line, you know, by several $100s or like a 0.5%. So there's a very obvious line. It's very common to put your stops right under that for a certain percentage. And they said, okay, let's go stop these people out because we've already liquidated, made a bunch of money, but all the people longing maybe from here who aren't getting liquidated, if we can't liquidate them, let's go ahead and hit their stops, because if we stop them out, now they're out of the trade, and now that we go up, they make no money. So not only did this move allow exchanges to liquidate people, but it allowed it to not pay people because it knocked them out of the trade. And a stop just means, let's say you go long here, and a stop means, okay, let me look for some line like this, or this line here actually. If I bet Bitcoin will come down exactly to hit it, and I don't want to be stopped out of my trade there. So I'm going to put it a measured move below it that's safe enough. So 1% below it, right? And, you know, I bet price will never come down here. But if it does and it tanks, I don't want to lose much money. And so what that stop means is they say to themselves, okay, my stop is here. I am out of the trade. I take a small loss, like a 5% loss or however much leverage they're using equates to. I take my losses and I'm out of the trade, because if it goes back up, and that means if it goes back up, you're out. You're not longing anymore. So the exchange essentially made double, like essentially money in two ways, because if you're not spending money, that's money that you earn essentially, right? Because the exchange is paying people, right? Is money out. So because if you erase money out, that's equivalent of money in. So they had money in from getting people out of their trades, and they took just straight up, liquidated people, took their bag. This is another reason why this battle of the bulls and bears is freaking epic. It's even epic down to factual statements such as more liquidations happened in raw dollars here in this 1 hour than any hour in the history of Bitcoin. And I do have to give credit to another trader's channel on that. I did not come up with that information myself. So I do spend at least an hour and a half a day educating myself on trading to better serve you folks. Don't just tune into my channel. I suggest that you go to try to find other traders that don't trade patterns and try to educate yourself in more than one way. It's because you need more than one perspective to do well in trading, right? So anyway, so yeah, this is epic, like on so many levels. And let's see here. There was one more thing I think I wanted to cover here. So one thing I'm looking for here, let me erase some of my lines. Actually, I'll keep that one. Okay, so what's happening here is a pretty common theme. Actually, I'll erase these two. A pretty common theme on the 2 hour, or sometimes even the 1 hour, but it didn't follow the rule here. And the higher the time frame, the more solidified this rule is. Whenever the 10 EMA crosses below the 21 EMA, the likelihood of having a dump is huge. Huge. So a lot of times when you see these getting tightened down, well, first off, that means price is becoming a stable coin. And it's very common that price typically gets trapped in here until the point that it crosses, right? And sometimes this happens a lot on the 4 hour. This is pretty common on the 4 hour, but a lot of times it happens on the hour. A lot of times pumps happen when the hour stuff's crossing, but obviously not here. It's been crisscrossing. So it's obviously waiting on a higher time frame. But what you see here is, and this is something to really make note of when you have this feeling that something's about to happen, is that 10 and that 21 smashing price down. Price can't, it won't keep going sideways. Maybe on the hour or the 15-minute it will. It'll crisscross, crisscross, crisscross. But once that 2 hour crosses, and especially once that 4 hour crosses, when this cross happens, price will go one way, and it'll go one way on a fairly violent basis. It will decide. I don't know how many times in Bitcoin history that so I'm on the 4 hour right now, that the 10 and the 21 have crossed and you didn't get some move, or a move before it. But I think it actually happens a ton on the 1 hour, but clearly didn't work here, like I said earlier. So this is what I'm personally watching. I'm personally watching for this cross to happen. So what a lot of these buy pressures are that people who want to long Bitcoin and have money to move price just a little bit, they don't want this cross to happen. They don't want it to happen. So they'll put a little bit of a push, just enough, right, to keep it from happening. But now you have to ask yourself, why would they do something? Why would they risk their money if it could ultimately just go down, right? Well, here's why. Like I said earlier, this is a battle of bulls and bears. So market psychology of what's going on in price, right? It's a battle between these folks. This group is 3 times bigger than these folks combined. How am I connecting these dots? Because the reason why folks who want price to go up and have money riding on it want to pump it a little bit, just a little bit, to make this not cross, is because once it crosses, a portion of this group, like perhaps even half, I would say actually of this whole group, I would say this much of them already put some sell pressure when the 1 hour cross, which it already did, right? So I think a portion of the sideliners are already in. But when the 2 hour crosses, which it hasn't yet, which is why, people with who can move market a little bit would pump price just a little bit here just to give it a little tick up before the cross, is because once the 2 hour cross happens, even bigger chunk of sideliners jump in to sell. And let's say that's still not enough to make price go down. Then when the 4 hour does it, that's typically enough to have the last big group of people come in, and like the statistical likelihood of that dumping price is pretty high. And so people who have the money to, make Bitcoin tick a little bit, like maybe $5 to $15 million market orders, like that was a pretty big, like in the million, that was a market order from somebody with a lot of money, what you just saw happening. But they don't want this to cross. That's literally what's happening right now. So we're analyzing this battle. This battle is freaking awesome. Like this is what I was looking at last night too. And I seen it really, a lot earlier, but I was thinking, oh my God, this is going to be awesome. So this is a really cool battle. And it's so cool because it's a battle of these folks, right here. And as of now, I think the bulls are stronger, because I don't think there are many sideliners coming in to join the bulls right now. I think with that 1 hour cross, you actually had sideliners joining the bear party, and that's still not enough to overpower the bulls yet. Neither are in control because we're still between these lines. But right now, it looks like the bulls have a little bit more umph. But if they just don't have enough umph to keep these lines from crossing, they're going to lose. They're going to lose, and they know it. And that's why you're going to see like massive, I wish I had some type of statistical tool to see how big market buys are, like kind of live in the moment. I have a ticker over here, because that was probably a pretty big one. That was several $1 million that you saw move that candle. And I think you all should have seen it because I was zoomed in. But if it happens to cross, these folks joining the bear team, it will overpower, and these people will lose. And that's what's happening right here, roughly. Perhaps they have other statistical models that they're looking at that, are based off that. Hey, dogs, stop it. Maybe they're looking at these lines exactly, but and it might just be algos telling them, or algos working while they're sleeping, something. But in essence, this is what's happening here. This is really cool. And so on my altcoin video of yesterday that had, I think, BPro on the thumbnail, I went into very detailed description of what a Bitcoin dump, maybe not like a crash, but it descends slowly below 50,000 bucks. I described very clearly what that means for altcoins. So if you want to know what that means, go to my last video with BPro on the thumbnail. Watch it on ×2 speed. Don't have to leave questions here because I've already answered that. So yeah, this is just cool, folks. This is just so cool. And I think that is all that I had up my sleeve for Bitcoin price and things that, retail investors would not be looking at, and it's pretty important to look at. So, and this is how I see the market psychology of what's happening. And for new viewers, the reason it's so important to understand the market psychology behind this is because that's all price movement is. It's a map of human psychology. And it's such a cool type of human psychology because it's adrenaline and money and fear and greed and like sweat and tears, second mortgages, divorces. I mean, there's a lot going on here, and it's just really neat. And so it's so on a very basic level, especially with sideliners, bulls and bears, you need to always be viewing the market as such. You need to have a rough estimate of, among all the people in Bitcoin right now, or whatever market you're looking at, whatever asset, how big is this group? How big is that group? How big is that group? So that's the first thing you need to think of. The next thing you need to think of when before you start clicking around is, what am I seeing that might happen here? And what does that mean for either buyers to become sellers, or buyers to become sideliners, or sideliners to become buyers? You need to constantly be thinking of, of this situation, the interplay of these people changing back and forth, and perhaps multiple times in one day. Now, hopefully, Cryptillions and crypto crackheads are not doing this because we're in a no trade zone. So Cryptillions and crypto crackheads should be one of these people right now, because you're just going to lose your money in fees and being scared and being liquidated and being stopped out and just like making a trade here, paying fees, making a trade here, not earning much money, paying fees. This is just fee land. So that's a third way exchanges are making money right now, but I don't think they are creating this situation really. But I think leverages do have the power to help make this happen to a specific point, even because they have the power of reading order books when down to that level. So this is awesome. This is an epic battle, essentially, of buyers, sellers, and exchanges, with these people lurking in the dark, constantly, joining one side, or probably not constantly. They're lurking to join one or the other. All right. So, veracity, I wanted to follow up on that. I said, yeah, it might go. What did I go? Like, did I say 60% or 68%? I said, yeah, I can see it coming up to here. So don't be scared about selling from the top. Let's see if I led you astray, which you really won't be able to tell until Bitcoin makes a choice here. So 80, yeah, right at 80%. But that's fine if you sold here as it looked weak. You know why? Because hopefully you didn't buy here. Right? At the top, that would be stupid. So I'm assuming that you're already taking good profits from somewhere down here. And the reason why I stressed that, hey, this is a, regardless of whether it goes up or not, I wanted to follow up on this, is even if it does go up and you're not, and you decide not to, you do decide to take profits, and then but you haven't done it yet, and you're scared that if I take profits, if I sell here, but what if it goes up? What if it goes up more? Here's why that's such a noob mentality to have. You ready? What do you think I'm about to say? Outside of there's another coin with more pressure built up that hasn't broken out yet. So besides that obvious fact, there are other coins with more gas in it that have been building up their gas, like Bitcoin even. Bitcoin has a lot of gas behind which way it's going to go. This doesn't. This is like the little engine who could running out of gas, like at the top of the hill, and it's not past the hill yet. This is fumes land, right? So outside of that fact that you can find another breakout coin that will go more than 80% with all the profit you took here, there are more than just Veracity coins. There are other coins breaking out, like Shaw. Let's go see what this is. Woo! There's 140%. What else is breaking out big time? You got a lot of breakouts, folks. So, and that's over a day, obviously, but and so there are tons of other trades with more gas in it that are more probable and statistically likely to go up 60+%. This was not statistically likely. The people saying you're wrong about Veracity, you're a buyer and prayer. You have no measurement for what you're saying, first off. And second off, you're a noob if you're saying that. Because you're reading white papers and you're listening to white papers. White papers don't tell you when to sell. White papers don't tell you support lines to buy back. Right? And you see how I did not circle the top? That's the answer to one of the questions, the question I'm trying to get at, but I went on a tangent when I said, besides that answer of finding another thing with speed. So why do you think that that it's a noob thing to feel bad about buying here? Because it means you're trying to sell tops, and selling tops is impossible, and you're being stupid. You're being stupid. You can't sell tops. So take your profit and go find something that's not selling a top. You're buying a pressure. You're buying some type of support, right? You're buying support like B-Pros. Freaking like, look, if you see a coin coming down here to already establish support, this buying B-Pro here is so much over time, will earn you so much more money than freaking holding on to your Veracity past that point. Over time. Like, just within a sample size of like 10. I bet, across all sample sizes of 10s in that situation, that like 95% of them, if you had 1 million sets of 10 of those scenarios, I would say over 95%, you would be better off doing this. Sometimes, maybe if something like theta, that just keeps going up forever, even though it's going to crash hard at some point. But some of those times, if you grab something like theta, it just goes parabolic, then yeah, okay, you got lucky 5% of those times in that hypothetical universe where you could play out a set of 10 situations like Veracity and B-Pro together. But you need to trade profitably over time and not trade perfectly every time. So if you don't want to sell here because you're worried about it going up, That means you're trying to trade perfectly every time, which is the greatest enemy against trading profitably over time, in addition to just being freaking stupid because you want to sell tops. That's what it means. That means you're trying to sell a top. Or it means you're even like lower trading IQ, like take your hand and slap yourself in the face, stupid. It means you think it can go up forever. It means one of those two things. That's why it's not healthy to be scared of selling here. Right? And on a numbers basis, it's simply more sound. You will earn more money over time. Period. Something like theta is the exception. And so to bet on that is stupid. To buy and pray is stupid. Won't go up forever. So I wanted to follow up with that. Now, could I be wrong? And it just keeps pumping and pumping and it ends up going 1,000% after already doing 2,000% run? Yeah, sure. But the statistical likelihood over time of that happening is so low that it's silly not to have taken profits around that point when it was obviously running out of steam, printing bearish divergence, near a double top, obviously running out of steam. It's just silly, okay? All right, so I wanted to follow up there. One more thing I wanted to... Actually, let's go look at Bitcoin one more time. Same old. Okay, nothing else has happened. And again, if you see this poke its head out, folks, what do you not want to do? Go long. And get liquidated. Wait till a 4-hour to close. It doesn't matter if it goes all the way up here. If this is happening on a 1-hour candle, the likelihood of a liquidation fake out is still way too high. You are not the house in terms of a casino. Be the house. You become the house when a 4-hour closes here. Don't worry about it going, oh, it's going past all-time highs. Who cares? Wait till that freaking 4-hour candle closes. You're not the house until then, period. Right? Be the house. You want statistically very probable trades. You want to take profits like a boss. In order to be a profit pimp, you have to be like... You have to make great entries, good statistical probabilities. Can you always have like 80% probabilities? No, you can't. You just got to work with 50% or over 50%. Hopefully 51 or higher. And you need the data behind that reasoning. You can't just will it up. You can't just, it doesn't matter if you scream at your screen, which I imagine way more than half of you have done, because I've done it. I've done it in the past when I was getting liquidated because my dumbass deleted my stop because I already took a little bit of a hit there, and I was like, no, I'm certain it'll bounce back up. So I took away my stop because I didn't want to take like a 5% loss like an idiot instead of just going long lower and making even more money back. No, jeez. Yeah, I've screamed at my screen. And I'm assume many of you have too. So anyway, so last thing I want to cover before I put a 3-year-old in bed, which greatly reduces mother's stress level, is profit taking. Okay, so we were on that with veracity. I called a lot of you stupid, right? So don't be stupid. And don't be slap yourself in the face, stupid, about thinking things are going to go up forever, right? Burnonomics and Omi, it's going to $1. No, it's not going to $1 this year, idiots. Not going to, and mark my words. I've already said this in 2, and this might be the 3rd video, but definitely the 2nd. I bet it goes less than 1/5 of a penny by the year 2023, sometime in there, maybe May-ish, somewhere around there. It's going to be less than 1/5 of a freaking penny. 0.0002. Or no, 002, sorry. Slap myself in the face. It's going to be less than 1/5 of a penny, folks. Even if it goes up to 15 cents, which I think it could this year. I think it has gas in it to get to 15 cents. It has the hype. That would put it like Cardano's first year run. I think it went up to 20-something billion. That would put Omi at 20 billion, and Omi does have the it does have the YouTuber hype and the noob hype, all these people who have drunk the juice. Actually, here's a good idea for you. Okay, so go to a YouTube video that has 𝐿, or about 𝐿. Read the comments. Try not to beat your head against a wall or a table, or just try not to beat yourself with something very hard as you read through them. Please, like, don't hurt yourself, but I suggest that you go read it, okay? OMG, not OMI. It's incredible. Just try it. Same with Cardano. Cardano's going to change Africa. Yeah, they don't even have a single customer yet. It doesn't even work. You poor souls. God. They don't even realize they've been running off promises for 5 years. I feel really bad for people like that. Anyway, who are so just new to this and listening to YouTubers who don't know anything besides the fact that they bought Cardano a little earlier because this isn't their first rodeo and they need their viewers to buy it so they can keep selling. Oh boy. Oh, and I did post the timestamps of when I bought, what was it, whatever coin it was, whether it was Play or OLT, I can't remember, but I posted that to Patreon, so you know I'm not doing that to you. And if you're in some other community and your YouTuber content creator talks about a coin and you see it pumps afterward, which sometimes, you know, your content creator can't help that. It's just, especially with small caps that I talk about, it only takes about $10,000 to move it, like 20%. And so if you're in another community, you really should demand to see timestamps on when they bought it. Like historical timestamps, you know, dating back a lot. So anyway, because you can do that without showing the amounts and, you know, being, you know, providing too much information. Could it be doctored? Maybe. But that would take a lot of effort. And if the content creator posted it quickly, you would be able to roughly say it's a good check and balance. You should demand that. All right, so taking profits. Let's go to what has broken out. And was NTV the example I wanted to use? It was not. Hold on, I had the perfect oh, it was Play. Does Play trade versus the US dollar? Nope. Okay. So it's, first off, it's way easier to take profits at the right spot, like a profit pimp, when a coin only trades versus Bitcoin. Keep that in mind. Two reasons for that. First off, Bitcoin has been stronger than any coin, pretty much. And I've actually heard several trader crypto YouTubers say something factually incorrect, like today about Ethereum, like 100% factually incorrect information, talking to hundreds of thousands of viewers. They said Ethereum has had a stronger run, might not have used those exact words, alluding to the fact that Ethereum's run has been better and stronger than Bitcoin's. No, it hasn't. Bitcoin is like 2.5 times past its all-time high. Ethereum is how much past its all-time high? Hello? It's not even close to being as strong. What are you smoking, people? What information are you giving to your viewers? You are mistakenly taking the fact that Ethereum simply dropped harder than Bitcoin. Therefore, on a percentage basis, has gone up more from its ridiculous bottom. Yeah, has Bitcoin gone up 1,800%? Actually, let's go find out. Yeah, it has. So on two levels, like, you're just wrong in general, no matter how you look at it. Like, that's stupid. Yeah, Ethereum's run has not been stronger. Veracity's has. Theta's has. from its all-time high specifically as a definition point of the definition of strong. But yeah, Ethereum definitely by zero measures has it been stronger. Oh, no, by one measure. The amount of ROI from the bottom. Yeah, that doesn't mean it's strong. That means it was weaker. It had a lower bottom because it's weaker, and it's still weaker because it's only a little percentage above its all-time high compared to Bitcoin. What are you guys smoking? All right, anyway, play. So taking profits, being a profit pimp, is a lot easier to do when a coin only trades versus Bitcoin for two reasons. The first reason is that you don't have to deal with overhead resistance. So see these yellow lines for new viewers? I'll tell you what it is here in a second and how I did it. You don't have these overhead resistances on two different pairings, the US dollar pairing, right? And the Bitcoin pairing. Another thing is that coins like Silo or whatever only trades against the USDT, once it is at an all-time high, it breaks all-time highs on the dollar value. You can't do something this freaking simple that works almost every time. There's nothing to the left, right? See how this is left? You can't look left. There's nothing there. So that's one reason. And another reason that it's a lot easier when it only trades versus Bitcoin is that I said it only trades versus. I think I might have lost my damn train of thought. There were two reasons I had, but let me totally lost my train of thought. I must be decaffeinated at 10:30 p.m. I'll come up with it here in a minute. There was the second thing. Anyway, taking profits like a boss. I personally am not 20 bagging play. It was on the trading side of my account. I've been thinking about it, and I think I'm just going to December hodl it because I got it at 2.3 million cap or 2.8 million. I think that I'm going to be so far in the green with this coin by the end that all of my efforts attempting to accumulate more via 20 bagging could be better spent somewhere else that I might not have gotten at such a low cap that will perform as well. Does that make sense? I think there's too much opportunity cost. Maybe not even opportunity cost. I think I accumulated enough at the bottom. Like I said, essentially I bought it at the bottom before a breakout. So yeah, I think I'm just gonna, and I'm doing the same with MTV. I'm not 20 bagging that because I bought it at 1.8 million cap. But something like BPro, I need to continue accumulating with dips and tops of ranges because it's a higher cap right now. I thought I bought in at 5 million cap, but actually I bought in at like 15.8 million cap. Not very happy about that, which greatly limits, its ROI potential by 3 times. Now it like can't be a 300x coin from the time I bought it. It can maybe be a 100x coin, but it can't be a 300x coin from the point I bought it because the cap was too big. But anyway, so taking profits like a boss is on the BTC pairing here. Oh, no. I remember the second damn thing. It's because Bitcoin has been so strong, which is why I went on the Ethereum tangent. Bitcoin has been so strong that it takes so long to get past the all-time high on the Bitcoin pairing. There are very, very, very few coins that are past the Bitcoin's all-time high, if assuming the coin has existed since sometime in 2019 or 2018. It's Bitcoin pairings way up here, and even Cardano. I mean, look, Cardano is the perfect example how weak Cardano is. Yeah, that was the second thing. You can do this for longer. So during blue sky breakouts, you can still have no-brainer ways to take profit like a profit pimp, right? I think I clicked the wrong one. Yes, I did. Darn it. Look, this is versus Bitcoin. This is how strong Bitcoin has been. This is what I mean, that even though Cardano has 70x'd on the US dollar pairing, right? The only reason why it's done more X than Bitcoin is because it was weaker than Bitcoin. It went down 98.77%. You can tell the actual strength versus Bitcoin here. Weak. It's not even halfway up its freaking chart. Now, can you make a ton of money off of a coin that is super weak? You buy the bottom and it gets hype? Hell yeah. You can make way more money off that than you can just buying and hold Bitcoin. Absolutely. But in terms of saying its run is stronger, that's straight up mathematically incorrect. Okay, so, but this is a point. Cardano has gone up impressively, right? And fast, 70x. But you can still take profits like a profit pimp because you have all these horizontals here to work with. You know when to take profits, buy back the dip. Take profits, buy back the dip, accumulate Cardano. That's the second and perhaps most powerful reason why a coin that only trades versus Bitcoin, but that also applies to coins that trade versus the US dollar too. But it's just the second reason. But anyway, so play. To take profits like a boss. It's so easy, folks. So easy. All you do is step 1. Click the W up here. Okay, write this down. Click the W. Actually, I shouldn't be talking to you like you're stupid about that because this is good information, and I didn't know this a long time ago either. So I'll call you stupid at a later date because I've already called you stupid once today. All right. So yeah, all you do is click the week. Second, look for where candles align, and oftentimes wicks. So this is a wick. These are wicks. This is a wick, and this is a candle body. Candle body. You know, the thicker part is the body, right? Step 2 is look where a bunch of them line, draw a trend line, draw another trend line. Just keep drawing. And a basic rule of thumb is you need at least, I would say, under most circumstances, like 4 touch points, and that could be 3 candle bodies and 1 wick, 2 candle bodies and 2 wicks that all stop exactly at the same level, whether that's up or down. What do you mean whether that's up or down? Let me show you. It almost always happens up and down because this one happens up and these ones happen down, right? Down, down, wick down, wick down, wick up, wick up. See, it happens up and down. They all stop at the same place. So this has like 6 touch points. All you do is look for those. Draw some lines. That's step 2. Step 3 is, maybe zoom out a little bit. Hit this button here, the measuring tool. Do not go from the bottom. Go from somewhere that near the bottom, it had a bunch of wicks and candle bodies all aligning, whether it's top or bottom. This is from where you want to measure. You don't measure from the bottom. So it looks like about here. And you can move it after you do it like that. See how it touches all these points? So it touches these from the bottom, touches these from the top. So that means support, resistance, support, support, resistance, resistance, right? Future support past support becomes future resistance. Past resistance becomes future support, right? So that's why they all align. It just is. It just does. Okay? So take your measuring tool, zoom out again. So this is Profit Pimp 101. Measure from that line. That's a big ass, holy cow. Wow. That's big. That's huge. Oh my God, I'm really glad I bought this. Wow. this is not typical. Usually these numbers are like 130, 250, and 350. But this is where the lines are. So a lot of times what happens is, so I'm going to make this middle line thinner for a specific reason. Because there are fewer touch points, fewer candle bodies. So this one has way more candle bodies. This one has the fewest. This has like the most, right? So the chance of, disregard that this is an 800% run. This is not normal. But for even a small cap. But anyway, that's where the resistances are. So often what you'll see is heavy, heavy, and light. Or you'll see light, heavy, light, or something like that. The way I play this is if a light resistance area or a skinnier line, because there are fewer things, I just change, you can just click on it and change it to, a smaller thing, right? See me do that? I typically assume that price in a breakout will break past one of the skinny lines and maybe ping off of this and come back down to rest on this. Because in this situation, because this is a bigger resistance, it will have to build up pressure before it can break through, right? If this line weren't skinny and this line didn't exist and you're only playing with two lines, if I could do this, if you're only playing with two lines, what you do is a lot of times, let's say you guess the top one is where it's going to bust through based on a percentage basis, because this one is only like 120% run. This one's like 300 something. I typically assume it will bust through and then come back down, either to here or bust through and stay here. But regardless of that, it doesn't matter. I take profits at the same places. But it could also come up shy and come down. Therefore, if you only take profits here and here, you don't get any. So straddling your orders, I have a video in my library. You straddle. So doing all those things in order and combined, then you straddle your orders in this hypothetical situation. But in our current situation, how I would have played this is, no pun intended that this is play, I would have seen this is a huge run, but these set of three, no matter how big that run is, it typically works the same way. If there are three like this, it's like an Oreo, so, with barely any of the yummy white stuff in the middle there. It typically will do something like this, come down, or like this and come down, or sometimes it'll come up, or sometimes it can come up shy, come down like this, right? So what I do, because there are so many options of how this will spike up when there are three in a sandwich, is I don't straddle, I stratify, which means you can do an equal distribution. So let's say you had $100. You could do an order for 10 here, 10, 10, 10, 10, 10, 10, 10, right? That's equal distribution. Or if you're really confident it's going to ping off this line, but you want to take profits down here just in case, you can do a top heavy distribution. Or something like light distribution, and then start getting heavy. Something like that. Top heavy distribution, like a top spinning, right? Or the way I would play this, actually, is this is the type of thing, because you have a sandwich in the middle, why not do a middle heavy distribution where you only take in this $100, like 5 here, maybe 5 here, maybe 10 here, something like that, and like 30 there, 20 here. Actually, let me go back. 30 here, something like that. So the size of the line means the size of the order, the percentage of 100, right? Do a middle heavy distribution that makes like a diamond. That's exactly how I would have played this. Because you don't know where it's going to spike up to. So you got to stratify, just guess. So is it impossible to sell tops? it's impossible to sell your whole bag on the top. But in this case, did I sell the top? Yeah, with this portion. And only these two didn't hit because I put one here at the line too. So I did sell the top, but only with 10 bucks, right? If I did an equal distribution like this. That's Profit Pimp Class 101. I think that's all I wanted to cover today. Let's flip around to Bitcoin. And she's flying. It looks like she's breaking. That's cool. So remember, this could be a fake out, but it might not be. That's pretty... you want to wait for a 4-hour candle, folks. Want to wait for a 4-hour. Now, are the odds in the bull's favor right now? Absolutely. So I don't have house odds on my positions, but don't click around until that closes. 4-hour candle, and then the next one starts. So I will see y'all later. Take it easy. You just got Timified, and new viewers, if you liked what you saw, if you end up subscribing, make sure you let me know whether you choose Cryptillion or Crypto Crackhead as your crypto pronoun. See you next time.